Hey there, nation. Welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. And welcome to another edition of Warhammer-Wednesdays, where we play Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team battle reports every Wednesday during our science fiction gaming weeks. And on this one, we're bringing in Kill Team battle report number 2. It is a recovery of intelligence scenario that is fought between my two friends, Odeth as well as Scream of the Emo. My friend Odeth will be playing the Heralds of Madness, which is a Thousand Suns Kill Team, which is also the neutral forces in our map-based campaign, while Scream of the Emo will be playing the red faction of the Genestealer Cults. So in case you're unaware, we are doing a map-based campaign for our kill team for Pandora Fronteris. That's the name of the campaign that we're doing. And you can also look at our map-based campaign rules up on my blogger.com site, so that way you guys can see that as well. So with that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll. We're going to play some background music real quick. As the music is playing, you can see pictures of both kill teams as well as their stats. If you want to see exactly what they're bringing, go ahead and pause and take a look at your own leisure. So with that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here.
Alright, so the scenario rules for this one is Recover Intelligence. The objective is to earn the most victory points by capturing objective markers. You earn 1 point of victory point for controlling each objective that's near your deployment zone, 3 victory points for controlling the objective in the center of the battlefield, and 2 victory points for every other objective that you manage to capture. The battle ends after turn 4 unless a 3 up on a d6 is rolled, and whoever has the most victory points ends up being the winner. For the reward on this scenario, they're capturing a temple on this one, so if you manage to capture this temple, you earn +1 territory, +1 material, and more importantly, +2 morale on this one. So with the scenario rules over, let's go and talk about deployment real quick as well as the battle plan. Alright, so here's an overhead shot of the entirety of the battlefield. As you can see, my friends are fighting over the objectives. We have the objective from the bottom left-hand corner on top of that walkway. We got another one on the roof of the West Superette. Another one is on the second floor in the upper top left-hand corner of the Alexander's department store. We got one in the middle of the table on the first level of that walkway, and you can't see it, but you have also another one next to that rebel pile up there in the top of the right-hand corner of the battlefield as well. Now for the battle plan on this one, I can't really tell you what the battle plan is because my friend's the one playing this. However, I do know that my buddy Scream of the Emo does have his work cut out for him. There are a lot of pink horrors that are inside of this warband he's fighting against for the Heralds of Madness. And those guys, when you kill them, they also multiply into 2 blue horrors. And when you kill those guys, they each multiply into 2 brimstone horrors. And they actually make great tar pitting units for capturing objectives. So my friend Scream of the Emo does have his work cut out for him. And same thing my buddy Odeth. So with the battle plan over, let's go and talk about the deployment real quick. So starting off with the Genestealer Cults, it's kind of nice because their deployments in these tight little triangles on either end of the battlefield. So up on the front there we have Zyvan Black. He is an aberrant who's also he's also a combat specialist for this warband as well. He's got a Power Hammer as well as Rending Claws. He's also got the Combat Specialist Expert Fighter ability. He's also got Pistol Vigor as well as a Tunnel Spawn demeanor. On the back left-hand corner there, that is Hollerin the Shipbreaker. He's a Neophyte Hybrid Gunner who's armed with a Seismic Cannon as well as Auto Pistol and Blasting Charges. He's a Fire Team member. And right next to him is Gyrus Starn, who's a Killer Morph, who's also the commander for this kill team. He's armed with 3 Liberator Auto Stubs, as well as a Cultist Knife. He's got the Hybrid Agility, Lightning Reflexes, Inspirational Deeds ability. He's also got the Enlightener demeanor. Now, right next to him on the right-hand side, that character's name is Venner Creel. He is a Neophyte Hybrid Gunner who's armed with a Grenade Launcher. He's also got an Auto Pistol as well as a Blasting Charge, and he's also a member of the Fire Team. Right next to him on the right-hand side, that is Xandis the Flayer. He's an Acolyte Hybrid Fighter who's armed with a Heavy Rock Saw. He's also packing a Hand Flamer. He's also the Warband's Zealot. He's also got the Frenzied ability. He's also got the Marker of the Dead special rule attached to him. And then finally, right next to him is Nasir Desh is his name. He's an Acolyte Hybrid Fighter. He's armed with a Heavy Rock Cutter. He's got a Hand Flamer as well as a Fire Team member. So moving across the table, we got the Heralds of Madness. So starting in the back left-hand corner, we have Sekinre the Illuminator. He is an aspiring sorcerer. He's armed with a Warp Flame Pistol and a Force Staff. He's also a Psyker. He's also the leader of this warband. He's also got the Resources ability, and he's got transhuman physiology for his special rules. He's also got the Prophesizer demeanor right next to him. On the left-hand side, that has Amenhotep of the Light. He is a Rurik Marine gunner. He's armed with a Soul Reaper cannon. He's got the Icon of Flame. He's also a heavy specialist with the Relentless ability, and he's also got the Exacting demeanor for him as well. And up in the front, that is Tahor, the Herald of Ruin. He's a Zangor. He's armed with an Auto Pistol, Chain Sword. He's also a Brayhorn. He's also a member of the Fire Team. Now on the far right-hand side over there, we got a little 4-man posse of Pink Horrors. Up in the front, that character's name is Bastek Spiderflux. I got the name mixed up on that one. I'm sorry, that is Fail Craze Beetle. He is a horror icon bearer. He's got Coruscating Flames, Icon is Niche. He's also a fighter team member. He's also a Psyker. Next to him on the left-hand side, that character's name is Bastek Spiderflux. He's in the back there. He's a horror hornblower. He's got Coruscating Flames, Instrument is Niche. He's also a fire team member as well. In the back, we have Phosis of Vile Deaths. He's Iridescent Horror as well. Coruscating Flames, as well as Soul Eater demeanor attached to him. And then lastly we have Mankamor, the Hatewind. He's another horror. He's got Coruscating Flames. He's also a fire team member as well as a Psyker. And that pretty much makes the deployment for this one. So the deployment over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and both of my friends roll off for initiative to see which of them will be going first. So the very first thing we do, of course, is the Cult Ambush rules for the Genestealer Cults. The red faction got to activate first. Xandus the Flare goes up 6 inches, and I believe that guy's name is Creel, Vanar Creel. He goes with the right-hand side to the rest Super Red as well, because those guys are the ones who rolled up for their Cult Ambush rules. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 1, and the Genestealer Cults got the initiative on this one, so they get to go first. And as you can see in this photo, my buddy just starts taking the advantage, setting up his forces as quickly as he possibly can. The first thing he does, he sends in Xandus the Flayer, who's the guy with the heavy rock saw. He goes charged directly into Tahor, the Herald of Ruin, engages that guy in close combat. At the same time, he also takes point with his Aberrant Simon Black, as well as one of his guys armed with a grenade launcher. He moves up to the top of the West Super Red in order to secure that first objective marker. At the same time, he also sends Holland the Shipbreaker to the left-hand side there to kind of provide cover from that little spot there. At the same time, the same thing with his leader, Garrison Star. He actually runs and advances over to the little walkway to secure objective marker number 1 at the same time. Now, in response to that, of course, my opponent also, my friend O'Death, he starts moving some of his guys as well. The Pink Horrors primarily move up forward behind that bridge to secure objective markers, while Sekimra the Illuminator as well as Amenhotep of the Light, they just move up forward so that way they can get closer range, so they can use their psychic abilities as well as their long-range shooting. And that pretty much makes the move phase for this one. So here's a close-up of the left-hand flank with Garrison Starn taking the point over there on the left-hand side with Holland the Shipbreaker right next to him. At the same time, there's also a close-up of his Aberrant Simon Black as well as Nasir Desh. He's also moving up as quick as they can, trying to put some pressure onto the Thousand Suns. And here's a close-up of Intergreel, also securing the very first objective for the Genestealer Cults on this one. And here's a close-up of one of the Pink Horrors. That guy's name is Fail Craze Beetle. He's the icon bearer. As you can see, he did a double movement to get to the top of the walkway there in order to help secure the center objective to earn victory points for his kill team. And here's a close-up of the rest of his Pink Horrors moving in the center to secure the rest of their objectives. At the same time, there's a close-up of Tahor, the Herald of Ruin, as well as Xandus the Flayer engaged in close combat. And of course, right behind them, we got Sekimra the Illuminator, as well as Amenhotep of the Light, moving up in order to lay down some suppressive fire. So with the movement phase over with, we skip the psychic phase, because unfortunately my friend, he did try to cast Psybolt, is what he tried to do with Sekimra the Illuminator, but unfortunately for him, my buddy Screamo the Emo decided to use one called, it was one of their tactics, I think it was called like the Hand of Fate or something like that, where basically you get to, roll the invulnerable save for psychic attacks, in which case he won. It ate up 2 of his command points at the same time. Alright, so here it goes to the shooting phase. The first thing, of course, we try to do is my friend tries to open up with Amenhotep of the Light. He also uses one of his command points for the heavy ability for more bullets. That way he gets multiple shots with his Soul Reaper cannon. And just like that, I was able to put, Simon Black directly out of action as well. So that part was pretty horrible. Then the very first casualty for the Heralds of Madness. At the same time, we also have an out-of-action result here taking place at the same time. And the reason why is because what ended up happening is that the Coruscating Flames from one of the fighters, that's the Hatewind character, he managed to put the Coruscating Flames directly onto the Elder Devil, which was one of the Genestealers, so because of that, he gets put out of action as well. So with the shooting phase over with, we go directly to the combat phase, and Xandus the Flayer has no problem putting the hurt directly onto Tahor, the Herald of Ruin, puts that guy out of action. He does a quick follow-through right behind him and goes directly into Amenhotep of the Light. So because of that, Amenhotep of the Light will not be engaged in close combat with Xandus the Flayer. And that pretty much ends up turn number 1. So here's an overhead shot of the entirety of the battlefield at the end of turn number 1. As you can see, the red faction are starting to take the offense with close combat in the center. However, their efforts were kind of blunted with 2 losses so far taking place, so that part was kind of rough. They lost their Genestealer, pure strain Genestealer, the Elder Devil. At the same time, they also lost Zyvan Black as well, which is one of my friends' what's it called, Aberrants, also got taken action as well. At the same time, they're also securing objectives for his side of the table. At the same time, my buddy Odeth is doing exactly the same thing on the top. So with turn number 1 over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 2. We roll off for initiative to see what happens. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 2, and the Thousand Suns managed to get the initiative on this one, and this photo is taken after the movement phase. For the most part, my friend Odette decided to send another one of his pink horrors up to the top in order to lay some resistance to Fail Craze Beetle, which is the original pink horrors on the top. I believe he ended up sending Bestek Spiderflux, which is the Hornblower. He's actually up there with him as well. While that's occurring at the same time, Amonheb of the Light is still engaged in close combat with Xandus the Flare, so my buddy decides to take Sikhenry the Illuminator, actually has him climb up to the second floor of the Alexander department store, so that way he can protect that objective there in the upper left-hand corner. Meanwhile, for the red faction, at the same time, Nesser Desh, he managed to climb up to the top of the first level of the buildings. That way he can start engaging targets in close combat. Vener Cruel tells exactly where he is. He puts a ready marker on him, so that way he can shoot first in the shooting phase, and same thing with Holland the Shipbreaker. And then finally, he also activates his leader, Garrison Starn, who climbs to the top of the walkway there, securing the objective in the bottom left-hand corner. So here's a close-up of the movement phase. As you can see in the bottom of this photo, Macklemore, that's his name, I think, the Hatewind, he's one of the horrors, is running across to the the Alexander's department store to lay down some help for securing the Illuminator. At the same time, you can see in this photo, Amonheb of the Light as well as Xandus the Flayer. They're both still engaged in close combat. And here's a close-up of Sikhenry the Illuminator climbing up to the top of the second floor of the Alexander's department store, securing that objective marker in the top left-hand corner. And here's a close-up of the 2 pink horrors trying to secure that first objective marker in the center, with Nesser Desh taking the offense and trying to fight them for it. And here's a close-up of Holland the Shipbreaker with his ready marker on him, so that way he can open fire with his seismic cannon. And a close-up of Garrison Starn going up to the top of the walkway in order to secure his first objective marker as well. So with the move phase over with, we go directly to the psychic phase. And during the psychic phase, Sikhenry the Illuminator managed to put 1 mortal wound directly onto Garrison Starn. However, it's not such a big deal though, because Garrison Starn got multiple wounds, so he's perfectly fine. The rest of the pink horrors failed their psychic test. So with the psychic phase over with, we go directly to the shooting phase. And in the shooting phase, Garrison Starn opens up with all 3 of his Liberator auto stubbers. As you can see in this photo, managed to put Sikhenry the Illuminator directly out of action. Just tore him a piece. I think he managed to put like 3 or 4 wounds on him when it was all said and done. So that part was kind of sad as well. The rest of the shooting phase is a wash. We go directly to the combat phase. As you can see in this photo, Xandus the Flayer, he managed to put 2 flesh wounds directly onto Amonheb of the Light. So because of that, he now has to suffer -1 to his weapon skill as well as ballistic skill because of the impacts he's taking. His transhuman physiology negates the very first flesh wound, but the second one, though, not so much. Now, Amonheb of the Light does try to return attacks, but unfortunately, he fails his attack roll. So because of that, these guys are engaged in another round of close combat. Meanwhile, Nesser Desh managed to put a wound directly onto Fail Craze Beetle. He automatically splits into 2 blue horrors. He puts the rest of his attacks into the Bedak Spiderflux, the Hornblower, but unfortunately though, he flubs his attacks, so because of that center icon still belongs to the Heralds of Madness. So with that, we go directly to the morale phase, and unfortunately for my buddy Odeth, when he rolls for his break test for his guys, unfortunately his entire kill team is broken because they failed their break test because they took so many losses at this point. And since my buddy Odeth is only playing neutral forces, he doesn't really care about sticking around if he doesn't have to, so he pretty much surrenders at this point. And that takes us directly to the end of the game, with the Genestealer Cults managed to secure their very first victory in this one, as well as capturing a temple at the same time. So with the battle report over with, we go directly to the post game, because this game is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Alright, so that takes directly to the post game. So starting with the Heralds of Madness, Sikhenry the Illuminator as well as Fail Craze Beetle, both those guys make full recoveries with no problem whatsoever. However, Tahor the Herald of Ruin does end up getting killed, so because of that, he is replaced with Tahor version 2.0. He's the next guy to take his place. None of the members of the kill team advance at this time, and that pretty much just kind of rounds it up for the Heralds of Madness. They don't get any points from any of the resources because they are the NPCs in this campaign. Now, moving on to the red faction as well, Zybin Black makes a full recovery, so no harm, no foul there, and the Elder Devil actually survives with a hard knocks injury, so because he survives and gets an additional experience point for him as well. So now that Genestealer actually has 2 experience points, which is all kinds of awesome. For advancements, none of the members of the kill team advanced at this time, however, they did manage to capture a temple, and that increased their stats on their resources. So for their intelligence, they're still at 0 points for intelligence, however, they earn 2 points in material, 3 points in morale, as well as 3 points in their territory as well. That pretty much makes up the ruins for this one. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this pretty much ends the battle report on this one. Pretty quick, simple, and to the point. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to our channel. That's good for this one, guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy.